Welcome to Galindez Garden and Adventure. Today's video is going to be about my personal experience with Phalaenopsis orchids and using keiki cloning paste, otherwise known as a cytokinin hormone, and what experience I had in using it starting last year and the results of all the growth. My particular taste in Phalaenopsis orchids is for mini ones, medium to medium, small to medium, miniature to medium. You won't see any large Phalaenopsis today, just want to let you know that. For those of you not familiar with orchid flowers, the longevity of the flower to stay in bloom varies with various types of orchids. The Phalaenopsis orchids or moth orchids you find in the stores all around in the markets, Home Depots, any kind of hardware stores. They're popular for the fact that they're beautiful and they last a long time. If you look at a scale of how long certain orchid flowers last, these are the most longest living. And today I would like to state that in my experiences, I don't like the list. Why do I not like the list? Because it says, oh, they only last 3 to 4 months. But why only 3 to 4 months? Why can't it last 6 months, 8 months, a whole year? Why? Because of my experience with cytokinin keiki cloning paste. I have a lot of fun with this because I'm like, okay, why can't I have a particular orchid last all year, just continuously flowering? I know it's pretty hard on the, I don't know if it's hard, maybe it is or not, but if I can keep it, for my personal experience, to have the beauty of my favorite color orchids. Everybody has their favorite color, white, different various colors. Now let's start with what is keiki cloning paste. When I first discovered it, I'm like, oh, I can buy my favorite Phalaenopsis orchid and I can make more of my favorite. So that's how this all started when I first started learning about keiki cloning paste. Here's one of the 2 keiki cloning pastes I use. I got this off of, well, you can get Amazon or eBay. This is a very popular one. I'm not sponsored. Comes with a little tiny 0.25 ounce container and ear swab. I'll have to do another video showing me actually applying this. Just want to show what the keiki cloning paste looks like. Here's another one I got from Arizona. This one supposedly is stronger and has 2 different hormones in it. It comes with a razor blade in there. Okay, the first orchid here I have is these flowers here. Been here 3-4 months already, and it's still gonna growing some new flowers here. You can see some older ones here that are already browned and the flowers are dropped. But what's all these flowers down here? If you can see closer here, on the node of where I applied the keiki cloning paste, here I had another branch here, a stem as it were, with the new flowers, and still not fully grown out. And from that same area, another one grew out this way with more flowers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 flowers here. This is a direct result of the keiki cloning paste. And below that, on the lower node here, another one came out, still growing more flowers. And yes, 1, 2. Just from these 2 nodes here where I put keiki cloning paste, you can see there's still some stuck on there. It looks like Vaseline. And what happens in these nodes, there's a little, what's called an eye, and that's a potential growth area. And that's why they apply the cytokinin keiki paste there. Now when I first did this, I wanted to have more of this orchid grow. But as I discovered that these higher nodes tend to just produce more flower stems. So that's why I would say that it's already been 3 to 4 months, and will this carry another 3 to 4 months? So I'm going to have an 8-month, 9-month, or 3/4 year flowering orchid. And I had some down here on this lowest node that supposedly has a greater chance of growing a true keiki, but it didn't. Now for the second orchid, here, all these top flowers here are the original ones. It's been 4 months already. Been enjoying those for 4 months. And as I said earlier, I put the hormone in the first 2 nodes because I wanted to get some keikis or clones of this orchid. But what happened is new flower stems came out. There's one right here, one down here, 2. And on this flower stem here, number 3. I bought this orchid because I like the color, and it had 3 spikes. So it was a good buy. So if you're, what's happening is these are original on top, and the new ones on the bottom. Now if I were to put the hormone higher on these higher nodes, they would all, what I know now is that they would all be flowers, if that's what I want. So these are going to fall off probably in the next 3 weeks, and they're going to have these go for another 3 to 4 months. So that's why I'm saying I've got a 7th-month flowering orchid. So that's the benefit. And what's funny to me, or most amusing, is that I think it'll go on beyond that. Why? Because here on this middle spike, I put cytokinin keiki cloning paste, and here's an actively growing another stem right here, which will most likely become a flower. So can this go on for more than a year? Now it's going to be low like these, but I'm still going to have flowers off of it. So that's the case of this triple spike yellow miniature Phalaenopsis. Now for my next miniature Phalaenopsis. Now this is one of the most fascinating to me. These miniature orchids that you find in the store are mostly all grown in Taiwan, shipped by the tens of thousands and thousands to America, and then finished flowering here. And they're coming up with fantastic colors. This is one of my most favorite colors, because I love contrasting colors like this. Now this is a particularly fascinating something that I have never seen mentioned that I could find anywhere. But this didn't grow branching extra flower stems. It tried to do one here, but it looked like it kind of died off and stopped. And I know why. Somehow the hormone that I put here on these lower ones reacted with everything else in the upper stems of these flowers. Why? Because after 3-4 months, the original flowers fell off. You can see over here and over here. And then in between the nodes, new flower stems came out where I never ever put hormones. It was fascinating to me that that would happen when I didn't actively put anything up here. I'm like, what? It had original flowers, stayed 3 to 4 months, fell off, but before it fell off, there were these little other flower stems that just came out of nowhere and started growing more of my favorite flowers. So after like half a year, I'm like, all right, 6 months of flowers, nice. Not bad for, this was a double spike, not bad for $14.99, I believe, when I purchased it. But this is the only orchid that this happened to me. Okay, again, I put hormones on the bottom, but somehow, that's what I believe, it reacted and grew other stems when there wasn't any at all. And the originals fell off, and I have these other flowers, all attributed to whatever that cytokinin and auxins that were put on the below this and this miniature orchid. Dun da da da! Whoa! Look at that! I purchased this When? Last November. It was flowering then. Still flowered? How's that possible? How many months is that? 5, 7 months? 6, 7 months? Okay, I purchased this in Half Moon Bay. It had flowers already. Some original flowers fell off right here, right there, and then here's some right here. But these are also original flowers, and they're still there, and there's still a few flowers budding. After 6 months? What? That's not on the list. So I did the same thing. I put keiki paste on the bottom here. I think there was a stem here I cut off. But here's another one growing here with a new flower and a new stem. So I just wanted to show there's another example of a half a year and more orchid. And now you see it, I have this on a wall mount, a very nice planter that I purchased off eBay from a seller in San Jose. I don't know the name, but they have 2 different sizes of this if you want to look for that on eBay. Now these commercially grown Phalaenopsis you find in your local stores, or as you can see, they all come with the sphagnum moss. It's completely sphagnum moss, just that's it. So I kind of incorporated most of that with new New Zealand sphagnum moss. Try to make it the same conditions, but then I put some New Zealand bark also inside on the bottom, and then filled it in with the sphagnum moss and put new ones on the side, and it loves it. So it's like it's a new home and it's fresh. Where's the flowers? Okay, something different. Another miniature Phalaenopsis orchid. A beautiful color, of which I don't know what it is, I didn't write it down. But you can see on the top here, these are the old ones are browning, they all fell off. But this is an example of a non-continuous flowering one that I like with the other ones. But what's happening here? Look at all the new flowers coming out right when these all just dropped. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flowering stems where I put the cytokinin keiki cloning paste. We have something else growing out here too. I think that's a new spike, a main spike. Okay, so that's what this orchid is. And what I want to show here is you want to have a higher humidity around these orchids. So I have this bowl with some rocks and another mini dish in here. You don't need this if there's no hole here. And place it there so the moisture could dry towards the orchid. Not everybody has a greenhouse like I do, but all of these orchids I'm showing you today were not in the greenhouse. They were just mostly in the kitchen bay window. So that's why I have this here, to give humidity, to have better growing conditions. Another one of my favorite colors for these miniature Phalaenopsis orchids. Here it is, see that? Beautiful. Okay, what happened here is that these were the original flowers. See, it's browning the stems, they all fell off. Then you have the new one, like all the others I showed you. Keeps it going for months and months and months. And now I'm getting back to why I bought this keiki cloning paste in the first time, when I said earlier in this video, is that I wanted to have more of my favorite orchids, but it didn't seem to turn out that way. All I got was all flowers. But on this orchid, I got a true keiki, the only one in all of my attempts so far. Right there. That's a clone. I'm waiting for it to grow roots. That's what I originally wanted, is to grow another clone of this plant, and there's one right there where I put the keiki cloning cytokinin auxin hormone right there. So I just wanted to conclude this video with my success. 1 out of all those attempts right there. Now on the other orchids I tried to do the same, but flowers came out, so it's kind of hit and miss. But who cares? You have more flowers and that's great, and I got a clone right here, and hopefully that's going to go all the way to adulthood and fruition. And I got orchids that I buy it from $12.99, $14.99 that last the whole year, or 6 months to a 3/4 year. It just keeps going. So I hope you enjoyed this video of my experience with cloning paste, miniature to medium-sized Phalaenopsis, and thank you for watching Galindez Garden and Adventures.